Olá pessoal, aqui é o Marcio Okabe e eu gostaria de falar uma coisa muito bacana, que é, eu fiz uma entrevista com Robert Lang. Ele é considerado um dos maiores origamistas do mundo e ele tem uma palestra incrível no TED Talks sobre origami e como o origami pode ser aplicado até em satélites. E ele é um artista do origami, que ele trabalhou na NASA e ele, há 16 anos, ele decidiu parar o trabalho que ele tinha, não na NASA, porque ele já estava em uma outra empresa no Vale do Silício, para trabalhar com origami. Então, assistam a entrevista, ficou muito bacana. Perdoem um pouquinho das minhas falhas no inglês, mas feito é melhor do que perfeito. Eu agradeço muito se você for origamista e quiser trabalhar, quiser atuar melhor na área de origami, entrem no portal origamistas.club e participem. Pessoal, espero que vocês gostem da entrevista, um abraço e, por favor, comentem e compartilhem esse vídeo. Um abraço e até mais! As I said in my email, I decided to work with origami, like you, because I love to make origamis, and I never thought in working with it. And I was seeing, not your TED Talks, I was seeing an interview, a video, and you said that you quit your job to work with origami.
Yep.
Then I thought, oh my God, if he did this, I can do that. I can do the same. Robert, I know some videos about you, but many people who don't know your job, your work, can you tell us a little bit about your challenges when you decided to go to origami?
Well, when I made the decision, it was primarily to write a book. I had a regular job doing research and development on lasers, and origami had been a hobby my whole life, and so I'd already gotten fairly well known in origami. I'd written, by that time, I think 6 books, thereabouts, and was pretty well known. All my previous books had been collections of instructions, what I call recipe books. But I had an idea for a book about how to do origami. And I thought about this book, and I tried working on it off and on over the years. I came to the realization that to write that book, I needed to be working on it full time. I couldn't do a little bit at a time and then set it aside, keep coming back. So I decided the only way the book would get written would be if I quit my job and went and wrote the book. So that was the motivation for the change in career. Just go write the book. And I figured while I was doing that, I would try to develop a laser career, follow up on all the leads that had been coming my way over the past, but that I'd had to turn down because I had a full-time job. And by the time I finished the book and delivered it, I had developed enough origami activities, projects, lectures, workshops, sales of art, and so forth, that that was enough to keep going full time. And so I just continued. And that's what I've been doing now for 16 years.
16 years. So, your job at that time was in NASA?
No, I worked for NASA from 1988 to 1992, and then in 92 I went to work for a company in Silicon Valley called Spectrodiode Labs, and I worked for them full-time for 9 years, and then did a little bit of, while I quit to write the book, I still did a little bit of consulting, both for SDL and for other laser companies, and that also helped sort of smooth the transition. And then over the couple years, I just tapered off and eventually ended all of the laser consulting.
Okay, it was a very good job.
It was. I enjoyed doing R&D on diode lasers. It was a lot of fun, but I enjoy origami more. And it has turned out that the scientific challenges in origami are every bit as big and interesting as the scientific challenges were in lasers and optics. So even that itch gets scratched.
Very good. I'm very involved here in Brazil, and I was in the morning in a maker festival in USP. USP is a great university from Brazil, a university from São Paulo. And there, today, tomorrow, and the next day, there is a maker festival of creativity. And how is going origami in the maker movement in education? Have you doing something with schools, with universities, in education area?
Most of my education-related work has been along the lines of teaching classes or workshops, classes on mathematics of origami or mechanisms of origami, and workshops to sort of exercise hands-on folding of mechanisms and the like that are used in structure. I guess I cross paths periodically with maker movement, and I'd say origami is nicely compatible with it, because using relatively accessible tools like laser cutters and the like, one can create origami mechanisms that are more than just simple paper folds. You can make things out of wood and polymers and metal, and a great variety of materials and variety of mechanisms. So I think it's very compatible with the maker movement. In fact, 3D printing has even a role in origami. But I haven't had a lot of sort of interaction crossover with the movement. I think there's the potential for more.
And you have, I was talking to a friend of mine that origami is like a 3D printing with paper. It's faster than 3D printing because we fold it and it's enough in a few minutes.
Yeah, they're complementary technologies. 3D printing, you can really make any 3D structure. With origami, you can make some 3D structures, not others. So there are differences. I'd say origami is perhaps more constrained than 3D printing in what you can make. But the constraint is part of what makes it interesting. And interestingly, it's possible to use 3D printing as a tool to create origami structures whereby you can print rigid facets in 3D. But if you print on a flexible material, then you can create an entire origami crease pattern that has rigid facets and flexible hinges, and do it in a single pass using 3D printing.
Very good. And about the artists, exhibitions, have you made exhibitions out of the United States in other countries?
Yeah, most of my exhibitions are in the US, but quite a few have been elsewhere. I've got work right now in a pretty big exhibition in Taiwan, and I've had work in Japan and Korea. Paris, I guess. So a little bit overseas, but most is in the US.
Very good. I will organize an exhibition for you in Brazil, in São Paulo.
Well, that would be fun. One of the things I do seek when I do an exhibition is to make sure that shipping and insurance costs are covered by the venue putting on the exhibition. So that's something to get into the discussions up front.
Yeah, of course. We have the Japan Festival in São Paulo. It's the biggest festival in Brazil of Japanese culture. I know some people who organize this event, and we can think about this.
Yeah, I learned many years ago of the very large Japanese community in Brazil, and in fact they published a book There's a Brazilian published origami book of that came out probably 20 years ago of works by authors around the world. Have you heard of it? It's called I think El Arte des Mestres or something to that effect. The Art of the Masters.
I will look for this book. Then I will look for this book and I put in the legends. I love to. I discovered that I am a video maker too. I love to record videos. I discovered that I am a YouTuber and origami. And very good. And do you have followers in other countries that you? Because when I saw your job, your TED Talks, TED is something very far. It's interesting because we see a TED Talk and we see, it's very difficult to talk to this person. Then I thought, I will see it. I will find the site. I found your site and send an email, and you answer in the same day.
Yeah, I get a lot of emails, and quite a few from around the world. In the last few days, I had a couple emails from Brazil. And I answer all the emails. And so I'd say most of my correspondence probably are in the US, but I have a few from just probably you name any country and someone has probably written to me from there.
Yeah, and I have in May I will make a lecture in the biggest event of education in Brazil. It calls Bet Brasil Educar. It's from I2I, which is a company of London. In London, they have the biggest technology fair of education, technology in education. And I would like very, very much to include some cases of robotics with origami. We send emails and I will include some of your cases in the lecture.
Well, let me give you something to look at. For robotics and origami, there's been a lot of work done by the research group of Daniela Rus at MIT. So if you'll kind of Google her and her website, you'll find really interesting origami robotics there. Also, Rob Wood at Harvard has also done some pretty sophisticated folding micro robots, but I think his technology is probably a little more advanced. You need more equipment to do the sorts of things he's doing. But a lot of Daniela's work is very accessible.
Very, very well. And talking about the traditional origami, I have a dream here in Brazil because I love education and I am very involved with free education because in Brazil, it's very different, the laws, because in the United States, the young people can study outside of school, but in Brazil, when the children cannot study out of school. But I love to study free education, and I believe that origami should be taught in school. So I send you the site origamistas.club. I want to create a portal of origamistas in Brazil. In the United States, do you have some kind of a portal to promote origami in schools? Do you have some case to tell us?
There are various individuals within the U.S. who use origami in schools and work to try to promote it. I wouldn't say there's not an organization devoted specifically to that, but within the American National Origami Society, Origami USA, there are quite a few people who are involved in or interested in origami in education, and so they share ideas on the society members' mailing list. So so they can reach each other and interact and share notions.
Okay.
Are you in touch with other? There are origami groups and societies all around the world, and many of them invite international members. In Origami USA, there's quite a few foreign overseas members, who are still members of Origami USA, and the same for British Origami Society, Japan Origami Academic Association in Japan, and the like. Are you a member of or in touch with these other societies at all?
Yeah, in Brazil it's the same thing. We have a lot of groups in Facebook, but anything organized. And I believe that with Make Movement, the potential of origami in education, it's very big. And I will make a crowdfunding campaign to organize this portal. When I will make a presentation and I will send to you, and we can make a little talk to help in the video for crowdfunding. Very grateful. And how is going the conference? It's engineering conference you are participating. Can you talk about your participation in this conference in Rio?
Sure. The conference is pretty broad. It's a conference of civil engineering group, and so there's a lot of mechanics and structures and talks on those topics and related topics. And this year there was what they call a mini symposium, a series of talks on which origami was a common theme. So looking at mechanisms and deployable structures, ways of modeling stresses and strains in folded structures and mechanisms.
My God.
And then on tomorrow, I'm giving a plenary talk, a talk to the whole conference about origami and connections between art, science, engineering, and the like.
Very good. My wife is civil engineering. My God, origami in construction. This is great. The video of this conference will be public after the conference, you know?
No, generally it's not public, and generally people have to pay for and register for the conference to see the presentations at the conference. That's pretty common in technical fields.
Yeah, very good. And what are you thinking about Brazil? It's your first time in Brazil. Are you Are you enjoying?
Yeah, it's very pretty. I'm in Rio de Janeiro. The hotel I'm in is on Copacabana Beach. In fact, it's right across the road, so I can look out the window and see the ocean. And if I look down the beach, there's several of the famous mountains are visible. So it is quite nice.
Very, very good. In the next time, you need to know São Paulo. And I am a Japanese from Bahia. You know Bahia?
I've seen it on a map, but I know nothing about it.
Because people who are not Brazilian, they know the Carnival of Rio de Janeiro. But in Brazil, people say that the best carnival is in Salvador, Bahia.
Okay.
Brazilians prefer Carnival from Bahia.
Well, if I come here during Carnival time, I will make sure to come to Bahia.
Yeah, Bahia, it's a very interesting place because the culture, it's like Brazil. I said that Bahia is from Brazil, like Brazil is from the rest of the world, All the cultures in the same place, and the people in Bahia used to be more happy in Bahia.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like a lovely place to be.
It was a great pleasure to talk to you. Unfortunately, I am not in Rio.
Yeah.
But we can talk more times about origami, and I would be very pleasure to work with origami and discover ways to work with origami here in Brazil. And I would like to have your concept. How to say conselhos? Your help.
Well, my email is always open. You can ask questions anytime.
Okay, Robert. It was very, very nice this talk. And next time we will be in presential.
And meet face to face.
Face to face.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye bye. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
I will send you the video after.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.